Luna had always known she was different. While other villagers feared the ancient mountains, she felt drawn to them like a moth to flame. The peaks called to her in dreams, whispering promises of something extraordinary waiting to be discovered. On the morning of her 25th birthday, she finally answered that call. The cave entrance was hidden behind a waterfall, just as the old legends described. Luna squeezed through the narrow opening, her torch casting dancing shadows on crystalline walls. The air grew warmer as she descended, carrying a strange humming vibration that resonated in her bones. When she entered the main chamber, her breath caught in her throat. About 35 massive eggs lay arranged in a perfect spiral pattern, each one pulsing with an inner light. They were beautiful scaled surfaces shimmering in shades of emerald, sapphire, ruby, and gold. Luna approached the nearest egg and placed her palm against its warm surface. The moment her skin made contact, something inside her awakened. Ancient knowledge flooded her mind. These were dragon eggs, dormant for 3,000 years, waiting for their keeper. She was that keeper. The first egg cracked open that very night. A tiny dragon emerged, no bigger than a house cat, with scales that gleamed like polished obsidian. It looked at Luna with intelligent golden eyes and chirped softly. She named him Ember. By dawn, 5 more had hatched. By the end of the week, all 35 dragons had broken free from their ancient shells, and Luna's life had transformed completely. Cameron first heard about the dragon woman from travelers passing through his smithy. He was a practical man, a craftsman who dealt in steel and fire, not fairy tales. But the stories were too consistent to ignore a young woman living in the mountains, surrounded by creatures thought extinct, performing miracles of healing and protection for anyone brave enough to seek her out. His skepticism crumbled when his younger sister fell ill with a fever no physician could cure. Desperate, Cameron made the treacherous climb to Luna's cave, expecting to find a charlatan or a madwoman. Instead, he found something that defied everything he thought he knew about the world. Luna stood in a vast cavern lit by bioluminescent moss, surrounded by dragons of every size and color. Some were still small enough to perch on her shoulders, while others had grown to the size of horses. They moved around her with grace and obvious affection, their scales catching the light like living gems. When she turned to face Cameron, he was struck by her calm confidence and the way the dragons seemed to orbit her like planets around a sun. "You've come seeking help," Luna said. It wasn't a question. Cameron explained his sister's condition, his voice cracking with emotion. Luna listened carefully, then whispered something to a dragon with silver-blue scales. The creature lowered its head, and Luna collected a single tear that had formed in the corner of its eye. She placed the crystalline droplet in a small vial and handed it to Cameron. 3 drops in water, twice daily, she instructed. Your sister will recover within a week. Cameron wanted to ask about payment, about how this was possible, about everything, but Luna simply smiled, and one of the smaller dragons, the obsidian one, Cameron would later learn was named Ember, nudged him gently toward the exit. His sister recovered exactly as Luna promised. Cameron returned to the mountains, this time with gratitude instead of desperation. He found Luna teaching a young copper dragon to fly, her laughter echoing off the canyon walls as the creature wobbled through the air. "Thank you," Cameron said simply. Luna landed beside him, the copper dragon settling on a nearby ledge. "You're welcome. But you didn't climb all this way just to say that." She was right. Cameron had spent the past week thinking about nothing but Luna and her dragons. "I want to help. Whatever you're doing here, you'll need supplies, materials, someone who can work metal. Dragons get injured, don't they? They need things built." Luna studied him carefully. "They do. But this isn't a job, Cameron. Once you enter this world, you can't simply leave it behind. The dragons will change you." "Maybe I want to be changed," he replied. Over the following months, Cameron became an essential part of Luna's sanctuary. He crafted saddles and harnesses for the larger dragons, forged specialized tools for Luna's work, and built structures to accommodate the growing creatures. In return, he witnessed wonders he'd never imagined possible. He watched Luna heal wounded animals, brought by forest creatures who seemed to understand she was a friend. He saw her mediate disputes between dragon siblings with the patience of a mother. He learned that each dragon had a unique personality. Some were playful pranksters, others were solemn philosophers, and still others were protective warriors who would defend Luna with their lives. What amazed Cameron most was how Luna managed to care for 35 individual beings, each with different needs, temperaments, and abilities. She knew every dragon by name, understood their moods, anticipated their needs before they arose. She was healer, teacher, protector, and friend to creatures that could easily destroy her with a misplaced claw. "How do you do it?" Cameron asked one evening as they sat watching the dragons perform their twilight flight ritual, spiraling through the air in complex patterns. Luna was quiet for a moment. I don't think of them as mine to control or manage. We're family. They chose me as much as I chose them. When you love something completely, caring for it doesn't feel like a burden, it feels like purpose. Cameron looked at her profile, illuminated by dragonfire, and realized he was beginning to understand what she meant. He'd found his purpose too, here in these mountains, helping Luna care for 35 dragons who were changing the world simply by existing. As Ember landed beside them and curled up between them like a contented cat, Cameron smiled. He'd come seeking a cure for his sister and found something far more valuable, a place where magic was real, where ancient creatures thrived under the care of an extraordinary woman, and where he finally belonged. The dragons had awakened, and so had he.